Hello. So I painted something this weekend that I'm completely, totally 100% in love with. You may have seen it. You're going to see the process of it, the majority of the painting process of it. Anyway, um, yeah, I painted this. It is inspired by that first perfect pint of fresh Ontario strawberries. Um, I picked up specifically this pint when I went to the grocery store, just regular groceries, and they looked so yummy, and then they tasted perfect, and they just look like the perfect strawberries. So it's gonna live on my wall, and I'm gonna stare at it every day, and it probably needs some touch-ups. But yeah, let's watch how this came together.
Hello, this is now a voiceover. Welcome. My name is Melissa. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on my little video. And if you have been here before, hello. and thank you also for clicking on my little video. Um, yeah, so as we just heard in my very uh, real excitement. I think that captured the realness of my excitement. We're going to watch the painting come together um, of this strawberry painting. I need to think of a name for it. If you have a good name for it, let me know in the comments below. But also, we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A. So I asked over on the Art Hang Party Discord. I'll put the link for that in the description below if you would like to join. It's a very nice community there. We meet every Thursday for a live stream and we draw together. It's very cool. Here on Twitch, here on YouTube, also on Twitch. Don't tell YouTube. um, and I got some questions. I think that's what I want to say. I got some questions. But maybe first, like, do we all know that I'm obsessed with strawberries? I am obsessed with strawberries. I have been since I was a kid. I used to draw these strawberry people. It's like regular people, but they had strawberries for heads. I want to find a picture of them because I remember them being so cute. But next time I'm at my parents' house, I'm gonna have to dig because I know there has to be some there. Also, this painting is 24 inches by 24 inches on canvas, and I used heavy body acrylic paint. Mostly Liquitex heavy body, but I also used, what did I use? Amsterdam acrylic paint and Gwartzman acrylic paint, which is a local art store here. Anyway, mostly Liquitex. Okay, let's get into the Q&A. So first, Clueless Stacy. Hi, Stacy. Sent a lot of questions. So, which is good because as of right now, how I've edited the video, we're at 33 minutes total. So we'll see if I can talk for that long. um, so Stacy's first question is, how and when did you start drawing? So I used to draw as a kid, as most kids do, my strawberry people being one of the things. But I used to always, I used to like write and illustrate my own books. Um, I wonder if those still exist. I have no idea. But I've always been creative. Like in adulthood, always been creative. So knitting, baking, photography, doodles, macrame, just from one thing to the next to the next to the next. I usually do like deep dives into things, become obsessed, and then something else grabs my attention, and that is the thing. But I would say knitting. Knitting was like my longest creative outlet for a very long time, from probably when I was 18 to 35. Let's 37, 38. Anyway, I'm well into my 40s now. In from February 2019 to August 2019, I started a 365 days of animation project, self-initiated for no other reason than I wanted to learn how to animate on my iPad. And this was before Procreate had animation assist. So remember that, okay? I was drawing on my iPad using Procreate, and I would draw the individual frames for the animation, and then I would have to import them into Photoshop on my computer and then do the frame by frame animation that way and export them as a GIF and then convert them into a video back on my iPad. This feels so archaic, but this was only in 2019, so that's not a long time ago. Anyway, I set a 365-day target for myself. I made it to a day 102. Let's give me a pat on the back for that one. 102 days of anything in a row is fantastic. And there was even a trip to Japan and Hong Kong in there in which I did one every day I was there. So yay me. After that, I started drawing digitally some comics about being a barista at Starbucks. So that was from December 2019 to October 2020. And they're up on my website if you want to have a look at them, or you can dive back into my Instagram. My Instagram is a great chronological history of my creative endeavors. So you can also do that. But if you go to melissamartin.art on the homepage, there will be a little thing there where you can see the comics and you can go through them. They're very cute. If you've worked as a barista or you've been to Starbucks and interacted with a barista, they will resonate with you. They're very cute, I think, if I do say so myself. In 2020, I also started hand lettering on my iPad. I watched a lot of Skillshare videos. I watched a lot of Mary Kate McDevitt, a lot of Jessica Hish tutorials, Skillshare classes, consumed everything that I could about hand lettering. Oh, what's the other one? Home Sweet Home. Yeah, she also mentors of mine. So hand lettering on the iPad, again, was drawing, but lettering. Then from December 2020 to March 2021, I did another project, self-initiated. I did 100 days of sneaker sketches. But this time I wanted to draw with a pen on paper. So being a fan of Frannerd, I got her Pentel Sleechy pen. If you know it, you know it. It's just a nice little thin black ink pen. And I drew 100 sneaker sketches in a row for 100 days. And I completed the 100-day challenge. So yay! And then after that, so this is just for drawing. After that, I started sketching a spread of one topic or thing every day. So I had a list of topics. So one was trees, one was bears, one was Australian animals. And I would just fill a sketchbook spread of that thing a day. Again, mostly using pen. Sometimes I would veer into color pencil, but drawing. So that's how I started drawing. First digitally, and then I wanted to put pen to paper. So I would say, short answer, 2019. Did you draw as a child? Also from Stacy. Yep. I used to write and illustrate stories and draw my strawberry people, which I already talked about. Also from Stacy. How did you start learning to paint? So I watched a lot of YouTube videos. And after my 100-day sneaker sketch project, I ordered my first set of Himi gouache. We all know it. It comes the jelly gouache comes in the plastic little box case thing. Very fun. So much like how I was doing the spreads of things, I created a list of 100 items. Again, here's another project that I started called 100 Days of Gouache Fun. And so me and my friend Susie, we're doing it together, listed out 100 items. So there was never a question of what we were going to paint on the day. And then I started that on April 20th, 2021. And I made it to day 74. 74 of 100. Pretty good. Pretty good. And that was painting something every day. So that went from April 20th 2021 to July 2021. So well done, well done, well done. But by that time, I was really wanting to start playing with a watercolor set that I bought because, watching YouTube videos of people painting other things come into your sphere, I guess. And I ordered myself a set of Paul Rubens watercolor, so a 24 set. And I did my first watercolor painting on July 21st, 2021. I don't know if these dates are too specific, but anyway, I think it gives context to the long length of time that I've been kind of painting and drawing, which to me, it just feels like it was last year, but time is funny. Anyway, I did my first watercolor painting the day after my last gouache painting. Not that I don't paint in gouache anymore, but yeah, and it was very much inspired by Danny J. Hawk. So I'll link everybody that I mention as mentors or teachers or references below. So, and then Stacy also asks, how did you get into painting landscapes? So there's definite inspiration and mentors, primarily on YouTube, some on Instagram, but I will just list them. Danny J. Hawk, Matthews Urbanowitz, Meru Godas, and Mike Dutton. Yes. Just watching. So Meru has a couple Domestika courses. Matthews has a lot of YouTube videos, just like real-time painting. So watching how he paints his landscapes and urban scenes. He does a lot of like Tokyo storefronts and stuff, which are really cool. Mike Dutton does this pedal and paint where he goes out on a bike ride and films like his bike ride and then stops and does a plein air painting, and you see the real-time process of that. And Danny J. Hawk has a great video on how to paint trees with watercolor. Anyway, yeah, so that for sure, those people for sure got me into landscape painting. And also I have to say Sophie McPike, because I really think that like our chat that we had going with a group of people through her Patreon, I think we all became obsessed with the idea. I feel like it was at the same time. I don't know exactly what kind of started it, but it's definitely, there's like a group of landscape obsessed artists from all over the world that were gathered around Sophie that just went and did. So yes. I use travel photos as references for the watercolor landscape painting. So from either camping trips or vacations or just locally around. And I use those for, reference for paintings. September 2021 was my first plein air painting. I took my gouache and watercolors with us camping and painted on location, which was amazing. And then it was winter in Ontario. And then it wasn't again until May 2022 that I started painting en plein air in earnest. I thought I would do once a week, but it ended up being a couple of times a week, which is amazing. And I actually created a set of postcards. So if you go to my website, link to my shop, there's you can buy a set of 10 of my best plein air watercolor paintings as a postcard set. Check it out. I never talk about my shop enough. All right. Stacy also asks, how often do you switch mediums? And I would say when the mood strikes. It depends on the subject matter and how I'm feeling. Like sometimes if I just have a thought that I want to paint this, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to use oil pastel for that. Or, that's like obviously an acrylic ink thing. Like it just, the kind of the subject dictates what I use, or sometimes just my mood or like feeling or something like that. It's hard to say. It's kind of at this point in time, it just feels right. I don't know. I don't know how else to say that, but Like I don't even really think about it. It's just you have the thought of what you're gonna make, and then you're like, okay, well, this is the thing that's gonna get me there, or how you want it to look, and then that determines the mediums. Stacy also asks, this is her last question, but it's a big one. How do you switch between them, being mediums, to learn using every medium you own and not abandon some of them? Big question. So I do, like as I've talked about, I tend to deep dive into a new medium. So I create a project like my 100 days of gouache fun, or 100 days of sneaker sketches or things like that. And then I get a really good feel and understanding for like how I want to use that medium, or it just kind of develops naturally. So if you look back at the beginning of my 100-day project, it's very different the way that I was painting compared to the end. So I think the more that you use something, the better you get at it. But I also watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch a lot of YouTube just in general. It's my bedtime routine. I will watch a couple of videos and then I will read until I fall asleep. So yeah, just play. Just get, if you get a new medium, just play with it. See, like even before you watch anything, or try to follow along with a tutorial or something like that, I would just say get your hands in there and play. Open your sketchbook, see how if it's paint, see how the paint feels, add some water, see how that feels, mix it with something else, see how that feels, add something on top of it, see how that feels. Just play, learn, see what you like, see what you don't. But I have abandoned materials. Like I have a full set of alcohol markers that I don't use. I was very excited when I got them, but I don't use them. And in fact, I've been thinking I should probably give them to my nieces, because I can't see a time where I would be excited about using them. And they just take up room on my shelf in my little art area that is sorely lacking in space. So I might just do that. But I do have materials that I like. I just don't use them as often. So like a glass dip pen with ink, or Posca paint markers. And then how do you switch between them? So once I learn or become comfortable with the medium, it kind of adds the skills of that medium onto the next thing. So like once you know how to paint with gouache, you basically know how to paint with acrylic paint. Although it's different, because acrylic you can layer better and all of that, but like the values, the shading, the shadows, the highlights, things like that, like those are all transferable skills from one medium to another. Even pencils and things like that. Once you learn to push shadows in one medium, it carries over. Yeah, and it's a fun combining medium. So it's like once you learn gouache, then grab your color pencils that you've been using, and put them on top and add some extra textures and things like that. And neocolors. That's it. For me, art is about having fun, and just playing and changing and learning new mediums is all part and adds to that. So that's maybe how to answer that. Just have fun, just play. And then Stacy says, that's all for now. Laughy face. Thank you, Stacy. That was a lot of really, really good questions. Jessica, aka the sword in the stone, sorry, asks, what is one goal that you are working towards? That is to become a full-time artist and illustrator. 100% fully, I want to draw and paint all day, every day, and I never want to have to worry about anything else ever again, except for, going for a jog and taking the dog for a walk, and sitting outside and painting, but that's all part of it. So I do some illustration work as part of my little creative business. I have one recurring client who is actually it's actually a pretty big one. um, it is, I'm not going to say the name, but it's our local transit authority, municipal transit authority, in charge of, you know, all of the local trains and things. So yeah, I do illustration work for them, which is great and it's pretty consistent. So that's awesome. But I want to add more. I want to add a lot more of that. And I also would love to do more commission work, paintings and things, and also sell original work. As I mentioned before with my postcards, I do have a shop. If you go to melissamartin.art, there is a link to a shop, and it will link you out to Etsy, just because I don't want to pay the extra Squarespace fee right now for my website to have a shop on there. And anyway, that doesn't matter. Yeah, so I have some originals. I have original landscape paintings from last year. I think I have some oil pastels on there. Maybe I have some Posca paintings and things. Maybe I took those down. I might have taken those down. Anyway, yeah, that's my goal, to become a full-time artist and illustrator. Jessica also asks, what are you looking forward to? Japan. We're going to Tokyo with a day trip overnight to Osaka at the beginning of October. So I think we're going for 10 days, I think. I'm really looking forward to that. We were there in 2019, but that was in my animation project stage. So I wasn't keeping a sketchbook. I wasn't painting. I wasn't plein airing. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. And so I know I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to like spend hours sitting outside and painting, because, you know, we're going to walk everywhere, but I'm going to take a lot of video. I'm going to take a lot of photos, and I am going to fill a sketchbook. That's another goal. But that I'm so looking forward to getting away, getting back to Japan. It's like, feels like home. It just feels like relaxing but energizing. Everybody's nice and polite. It's clean. It's friendly. The food is amazing. The candy and snacks are amazing. There's everything. If you haven't gone, go. If you haven't gone, go. One more question from Jessica, and it's a biggie. Small business tips or what you use for bookkeeping. So maybe it's not a big question, but I will try to keep my answer short, because I'm not at all an expert. I am not an accountant. I am not a consultant in any shape, form, or whatever, when it comes to telling you how to run a small business. But I created a Google spreadsheet to track my invoices and expenses, and I send invoices and quotes also with Google Sheets. It's pretty manual, but it does the job. And my spreadsheet is actually pretty comprehensive. So Jessica, or anybody who is interested, I'm happy to send you an empty version of my spreadsheet. So let me know, and I can share that with you. Yeah, it's taken, I've been running our little business for 5 years now. It's called Half Square Designs, if you would like to look it up. halfsquaredesigns.ca. We do social media management, website design, primarily on Squarespace, custom illustration, graphic design, and we offer DJ services. So yeah, check it out. And then, okay, so what's next? I have a list of things here. Okay, so small business tips. Add a column to your expense tracking with the tax categories. When it comes to tax time, you just need to sort and then auto sum your categories, and then you can enter that in your tax software or give that to your accountant, and you're done. So do that ahead of time. Do that weekly. Every Friday morning, I update my budget, make sure all my expenses are logged, make sure all the money is where it needs to be and everything like that. And then That's it. I do that weekly, Friday morning, never fail. And trust me, by the time tax time comes around and you have to gather all of this information, all of your expenses, your receipts, your everything, you're done. You don't need to worry about it. You're like, oh yeah, here you go. No big deal. Speaking about tax time, calculate the amount calculate the amount and set aside from every invoice or sales transaction that you receive the income tax that you need to pay, the sales tax, and any savings that you want to set aside. Calculate that on your like tracker, invoice tracker sheet. Have a column that says send to savings, and every time you get paid, you move that over into your savings right away. That's my advice. Like, if you listen to anything, listen to that. Because that way, come tax time, you don't even need to think about it. You're like, oh yeah, I have my income tax right here. I'm ready to go. Sure. What's the big deal? Well, there's no surprises. The first year I was surprised. That's why I say that, because I didn't do that and it was not fun. So setting it aside as the money comes in, you're golden. You're good. Open a separate bank account for your business and hire a lawyer to draft a contract or master service agreement for everything that you do. It's a bit of an investment up front. And I mean, you can find things online. I wouldn't recommend that. I would say work with somebody to craft something specifically for you. And then that way, you are good. And then you just update it based on based on what the project is that you're working on. There should be an area in there where you just put in your deliverables and then you send it off. They sign it, you sign it, you're good. No worries. Thank you, Jessica, for your questions. If you have any follow-ups, let me know. I know that was a whole bunch of word vomit about small business tips. Next, Vera Paziani. Vera, I hope I'm saying your last name right. VeraPaziani.art over on Instagram asked, when did you decide to become an artist? I won't go through the whole thing again, but I think I first thought I could do it after at the end of last summer, when I looked at all of my plein air paintings that I made over the summer and decided to make that landscape postcard set. I felt like the work was good enough that I could get away with calling myself an artist. Yeah. I do consider myself an artist. I know it's taken a long time to be able to put that on my bio, but yes, Melissa Martin, am an artist. Vera also asks, what are your favorite subjects to paint? Probably no surprise to anybody, but landscapes. And I also love doing surprise pet portraits for people. I don't know that I want to do them all the time, but I love surprising people with a portrait of their pet. And then Vera also asks, what did you study? So I wanted, in college, I wanted to go for graphic design. I was really bummed when I didn't get in. I applied to a couple of schools and I think I got on the wait list for one, but it was out of town. And decisions had to be made. So I decided just to go for the business marketing. Well, so yes, I studied marketing and that was fine. It was good. I'm looking back, I'm glad I did, because it gave me a whole bunch of business knowledge and skills. And also in every professional job that I've ever held, I did graphic design as part of my job. So I feel like it's kind of the best of both worlds. Self-taught graphic designer and educated marketer. So there you go. Thank you, Vera, for your questions. Intergalactic Peach Patrol, everybody's favorite Peachy, from Instagram asked, favorite thing to doodle? Strawberries. And this little tulip character that I created, you see it in the intro and like my transition scenes and stuff like that. And just like random made up flowers, just because there's no wrong way to draw a flower. um, Peachy also asks what my favorite medium is, which is hard. But I think, like, I love gouache, I love watercolor. Um, but oil pastels. I love getting my hands dirty. I love like smooshing them into the paper. It just feels like playing, and the outcomes are just like so fun. It's my most like abstract work, I think. But I just love it. Like I could just stare at the final pieces for hours, which I do sometimes. Um, Next question from Peachy is favorite treasure you've ever found. Um, so I have written down my grandma doll. We were going for a walk one time around the block, and we looked down, and there was this little doll discarded on the ground, and it's like a wooden doll, and she looks exactly like my grandma. Exactly like my grandma. I'll put a picture up. Yeah, exactly like my grandma. Um, but then I was thinking my cats, but I didn't technically find them. My cousin found them. um, and then Peachy also asks, when are you coming to Australia for an extended art vacation? Giggle face. And my answer to that is one day. I don't know when, but one day. One day. Okay, well, here we are. That's that. Wow. Okay, that was a lot of talking. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Peachy and Vera and Jessica and Stacy for your questions. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my strawberry painting. I think I'll make a print. What do you think? I think I will make a print of this. And if I do, I will let you know when it is available. Yeah. Anyway, if you have any questions, either about the painting or just as a follow-up to anything that I've blabbered about or anything that you've ever wondered about me, and my art practice or anything like that, let me know. Okay, that is enough from me, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.